Hello and welcome to another episode of For the Record. I am your host Aditya Lokhande, and today we are joined by Trishant, who goes by the name of the VYB Project. Trishant is also a part of Lo-Fi Losers Collective. Is it right? Is it like Lo-Fi Losers Collective or is it just Lo-Fi Losers?
It is Lo-Fi Losers Collective, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that and Rahat Collective, Trishant has a shit ton of music under the belt of the VYB project. So, and he also recently released a brand new EP. So we are excited to have him. So what up? What up?
Hello. Hi. Filhal, though, I am very exhausted. I had a very tiring day today,
Okay.
but
What did
I
you
am doing
do
good.
today?
Today I went out. My friend needed help picking shoes for hiking, and he needed
For?
companies for hiking, and he
Oh,
needed
nice.
company. So we went to Decathlon in Dahisar, and
सही है ब्रो.
वहां से आते आते हाँ इतना ट्रैफिक में अटक गया था.
Yeah, but like Decathlon is such a good store to just
It's a
hang
great
out.
store. Yeah.
निकल जाता है ब्रो टाइम कुछ ना कुछ लेके लाइक दे हैव एवरीथिंग आई मीन दे हैव फिशिंग रॉड से लेके द लाइक द बेस्ट ऑफ
One feel dizzy just hanging out there and seeing everything they have to offer.
या मैन
How was your day?
माय डे ओके it was great. I mean, just another day. I didn't work on any of my projects, and I have some commercial work pending, so I have to do that as well after we record this.
Right.
Yeah, man. How has the lockdown been for you? I mean, the pandemic. Lockdown तो है नहीं, but
So the quarantine, the COVID life 2020, it's been a weird year. It's had its ups, it's had its downs. It's like I'm sitting on a roller coaster right now.
oh, but
So
like
like
you
that.
released two EPs, right? In this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yes, I
there's
did.
like a lot of
Yes.
music from your side.
Sorry.
That's a lot of music. Like two EPs is like a good body of work.
Yeah, I mean, a good body of work for this year. I have had I've had couple of releases last year. I think it was about uh, around 8 releases in 1 year, I guess. But most of them were singles. So yeah, most of them were singles. So it's fine. But I honestly, if I have to say, I think half of them were just me getting them out of my system, and the rest of them were special.
Shit, man, that's really like I mean there are only a few producers who have so much in their discography, especially electronic music producers. And like I was just going through the Spotify and I saw so much of music and like I did not have the time to check it out, but I'll definitely
Mm.
go through it because I think 2017-18 ke EPs you have.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So I mean that's like so much of music you have, and that is just I think under the VYB project. You have another alias as well, right?
Yes, that's true. Yes.
So I mean I think you produce techno, right? Through
I
that
do
alias.
produce techno.
What's it called?
The Janus project. Janus. It just came out of being from like the need to bang out a few techno beasts, and it's been dormant for this last year, I guess. Anything not significant from that side, but I think something cool should happen next year, hopefully.
सही है सही है.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, so this is like the standard thing I do. I want to understand where your, interest in music production or music in general came from, and how did the VYB project, you know, uh, become what it is.
Hmm. So my scene was, I was a pretty nerdy kid. When I say nerdy, I don't mean academically. I mean with respect to games. I was a gamer,
Okay. Yeah.
and I would spend. In fact, my 11th, most majority of my 11th and 12th grade was spent in a cyber cafe with my best friend, and we would just play hours and hours of gaming. Like we would just do gaming 24/7.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
cyber cafes, sorry to cut you off, but cyber cafes are such an ancient thing, like right now.
Yes.
There was
Yes.
a
They are.
time when like there's so
That was the
many people.
time.
I'm not a gamer, but I understand the culture, of going to cyber cafes and
Hmm.
just playing there for hours and hours. But मेरे से नहीं होता gaming. I'm not a gamer at all.
I used to be that gamer. In fact, I went so crazy into it. One of my best friends, he was a really good sniper in Counter Strike, and he got really busy with gaming. I mean, sorry, with studies. And then I continued gaming because I had no interest in studies. And then one fine day, he came back for a rematch, and I beat the shit out of him, and he was very scared.
So yeah, so you played CS mainly.
A lot of CS, a lot of CS.
Okay, and what did you opt for in? Sorry, go on.
Hey, what were you asking? Were you asking?
Yeah, I was asking what did you opt for in 11th?
I went into arts. I took up arts in
Oh,
junior.
beautiful. Beautiful, bro.
Yeah,
Nice, nice. So, yeah, so you used to game a lot in 11th and
I used
yeah,
to game a
continue.
lot, and well, I was poised to be a filmmaker first. I was being put in that direction of filmmaking. I had made a funny video back when I was 8, and my dad saw it, and he thought I would be a really good filmmaker when he saw the video I made. But I really didn't, associate myself to filmmaking as much. But I went along with it because it seemed cool. So skip forward to my second year in degree, mass media, and I started to slowly drift away from filmmaking by then. And although I'm skipping back and forth in time, my cousin had introduced me to Swedish House Mafia
Hmm, all right.
in 2011, I think 2012 something, and I was hooked. I hooked as in I forgot what pop music is. I forgot what Indian music is. I forgot all of that. I was like, what is this? And my life changed. I had no idea this thing existed. Who are these guys? What was this culture? I wanted to get in.
Okay, so up till that time, you had no particular interest in music.
No, no, none whatsoever. I loved electronic music, like in general. Like I would love T-Pain. I would love a little bit of David Guetta. Although that's a bit general in
I
sense.
mean, yeah, I mean, so like people like David Guetta and T-Pain fall more towards the pop side, I would say.
Yes,
But yeah.
yes,
I mean, electronic, yeah, definitely. I say pop because they were always on the charts. So
I agree. I agree. There was just something about how they used the synths and T-Pain with his vocoder. That always intrigued me. That this is so
yeah, that's
interesting.
pretty iconic.
Iconic.
What
Yeah.
like T-Pain does with his voice, yeah. So yeah, so you Swedish House Mafia, you were introduced to them, and
And once I got into Swedish House Mafia, I just went into this EDM rabbit hole. I just went deeper and deeper and deeper. I discovered Armin, Deadmau5, Eric Prydz. You can name the rest.
yeah,
And
definitely, bro.
and
I
by
can
my
I can name sorry just one
you
point. I can
no no
name
no no
like
it's cool.
two record labels, bro. Revealed and Spinning. I mean, it's just
Oh yeah, yes. Spinning
the pool
and
of artists.
Reveal. They had a shit ton of artists, so many releases back to back, like hit making machine. Yeah. So to continue, I had gone into the rabbit hole, and by my second year, coming back to my second year in my degree college, I found this software. My friend told me about how he was working on graphic design, and I looked at him like, if this guy can go into a software and make something that cool, why not try something like that with music? Because I really love music. I've learned a little bit of instruments when I was really young, but I didn't really do anything after that. So I picked up a copy of FL Studio,
Hmm.
and I was hooked. It was like I was like a moth, and it was like a purple light. I didn't
That's
want
a
to
good
see
analogy.
anything else. Thank you. And yeah, ever since then, it's just been. I've stopped gaming. I can't game now. I feel pukey. I feel pukey if I sit for more than 20 minutes on a game.
Damn. Okay.
So,
Interesting.
but
Interesting.
FL Studio, I can sit for 10 hours stretch.
Okay, FL is like your has been your dog till date.
It has always been my dog. It has always been my dog. And yeah, I started in 2015, right after my grandfather passed away. God bless his soul. And I wanted to do something, to make him proud in that sense. And I just picked up FL Studio. I was like, screw it, let's do this. And from there on, I just became so interested in how things worked inside of a DAW, what a DAW is. But I really didn't do much research into what I was doing. Most of my songs from then would clip. And
Okay, that's I mean the case with every like every beginner who wants to get into production.
right.
It's just a joy of creating something uh,
Yes.
on like to like normally even if you use a step sequencer and make the most basic beat, you're blown away by that itself. So
100%. 100%. And that's exactly what I was doing. Like I was blown away. And my friends who were, like they were pursuing, serious stuff. Like one of my friends is a software engineer, and he was getting into that, like deep into that. One of them is a marketing guy, and he was getting into that. And they were like very put off by, what is this guy doing? Like, this is so interesting. This is so weird. And I would keep bouncing my ideas off of them, and they would just put on a nice face, a friendly face, and like, yeah, this is cool. In the mind, I knew they were like, bro, what is this? What are you doing?
yeah, we've all done that.
uh,
So
yeah, and after that, after I graduated in 2017, I decided, let's seriously double down on music making. Let's take this up. And I went to the good school here in Mumbai, True School of Music, which is where you can say I officially began learning music.
what was the course? What was your course exactly?
I went in for music production, pro
Okay.
music production as they call it.
Was it like a 1 year course or?
It was a 3-year course, and I
Okay.
only got through the first year.
Okay.
I dropped out, and because the course was not to my needs, to my particular needs, and I
Okay.
felt
It
that
wasn't helping you.
it was not helping me towards the end of that 1 year of the first year. But I must credit them. I learned a great deal about music production. I learned a lot, and I made so many good friends. So many good friends.
Great, bro.
And yeah, after that, I think as soon as like I dropped out of after 2018, sorry, that is when I began putting everything out. I was like, let's get this, thing out of the system. Let's get all the music out. And here we are.
Yeah, with I mean a shit ton of like music from you. How much role? I'm interested in the fact that you opted for art. So how much role did that play? In I mean, everything you did, because I opted for science, and
Right.
my younger sister, she is studying arts. She's majoring in philosophy, and the
Right.
stuff, arts, the subjects, arts, the curriculum itself is so
Mm-hmm.
interesting that you form such a different worldview compared to people who who go into STEM fields, or in
Yeah.
the field of economics and finance. The worldview of art, people who study arts, is so. I mean, you kind of. I feel it becomes easier for it becomes easier to get out of the box, which
Yes.
culture norms and society has put you in. So how much of arts, like opting for arts, has like helped you, become a musician, or uh, help you in your craft?
Great question. I was, while friends were like learning, everything about how to bookkeep and what trigonometry was. I was like, I was being, I was being taught about psychology, uh, even sociology as a subject, how to, deal with crowds, how crowds work, how the human population works as a culture, as a society. It was a very fascinating 2 years of studying arts, and I think psychology was quite a big role in making music, because I learned how I can continue to so there's this thing about conditioning, when you treat the subject in a way that when you reward them after you have them do a task that you want them to do, they they will feel a sense of dopamine rush, right? I learned that early on, how not to get into that, and how not to have a dopamine rush, uh, just based on the amount of streams I get, or just the amount of likes I get on my music.
So you've been pretty conscious, you've been pretty introspective, I'm assuming.
Yes, in some ways, yeah. I mean, I really feel that uh, it's a changing landscape right now. Even yesterday, just 2 days back, everyone was sharing their Spotify Wrapped numbers, on
Right, right. I'm guilty of
social
that as
media.
well. But yeah.
Everyone is, even I am. But
I
I
didn't show my
like
numbers personally, but I just shared the artists, the top artists and stuff, the genres and
hey,
stuff.
you
Yeah.
just joined this year. I mean, you joined very recently, right? I think
See, bro, I make
August.
ambient music, so I don't care who listens to it or who doesn't, because anyway, it doesn't matter.
Am-
It's ambient music, bro.
ambient music.
So
Ambient music is its own. I always look. This is the thing about the Y project. Like, I always look at all the genres as a different world. It's like a different universe.
and that shows that
And
speaks through your music.
right.
And also, a funny thing, so for our listeners, who this is one thing I want to clarify. I know Trishant through this collective we both are a part of. It's called Rahat Collective, uh, and it consists of some really great music producers who make lo-fi, chill, and ambient music. So that is how I know Trishant. Anyway, so I mean, I have a lot of questions, but yeah, the thing I have in my mind right now, I'll talk about it, is that
All right. Yeah.
what I observed, what I observed is that I think group may we were talking when the group was new, Instagram group,
Yeah.
and I just mentioned the artists I was listening to, and you, I think, had almost similar artists.
Yes.
I mean, we both, I think, have a pretty much, a similar
Taste.
taste in music.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you listen to Tame Impala, you listen to,
Yes.
do you listen to Max Cooper?
Yes. Yes. I have.
Yeah, yeah.
I do.
and then I think अरे बहुत सारे तेरे because I
Quite a few.
कभी कभी क्या होता है yeah because I go and follow an artist and I already see your name. I'm like, oh, he's here. He's already here. So that way, and like, so
Yeah.
yeah, considering your music and how you soak in all genres, it speaks through your music. So the Vibe project, when you started it, how did the name come into place, and what was your idea with the project? Because I'm sure कि अगर नाम में project है तो it means something. You see it as a project. So what's the scene?
Wait, I think it's gonna come as a shock, but the project came later.
Oh, acha, interesting.
So the story goes as I was just Vibe before. Like I was only Vibe. It was all Vibe.
VYB.
Yeah, Vibe. And back then I was just putting my music up on SoundCloud, which anyone can do, right? But when 2018 came around, when I decided to put my music on all the streaming platforms, I as a test run I just put one of my songs up using my distribution service DistroKid, and I saw that there are a lot of vibes out there, pun
Bro, there are
intended.
so many vibes, bro. I was like about to. I mean, the word itself is so much there in our culture and lingo of
Yes,
today
yes,
कि वो वाइब मिलने ही वाला है हर जगह कोई ना कोई वाइब
yes. Hmm.
के नाम से जाता रहेगा. Yeah, so
And my music went on the wrong vibes page. I was pissed off. So I took it down. I took it down. I was pissed off. I took it down, and I already had the Janus project before
अच्छा.
I
Oh, that came
shifted.
first.
Yes, that came second. That came second. Vibe was first,
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा.
then Janus,
Okay.
and then I decided why not just add the end project at the front and end of the name. Just make it the Vibe project. It's already like it's one of my entities, right? So, but I chose the name Vibe because I wanted to, like, my mission with the name and with my music is I just want to keep exploring as many genres as possible. I want to provide, like, even if I don't get the million streams or the 1,000 streams, I just want to provide my listeners with like a multi flavored box of chocolates, where you close your eyes, you just take one out and you eat and you're like, ugh, what the heck was that? And then the next one you pick out, you're like, oh wow, I love this. Hell yeah. You know? So one of
Okay.
them
I
is gonna
mean
be
that.
spicy.
Yeah.
Go on, no, you were saying something.
No, so I mean, I like the way you approach your art because you're aware of the fact that सबको पसंद नहीं आने वाला है. Anyway, so point being कि you're trying to create your own world or like a universe of the Vibe project where you come in and you're treated with all kinds of stuff. You like it or not, it's up to you. Am I getting it
So
right?
you are partially getting it right. I don't want, like, I can't, in a world where there are so many worlds already. I don't know how I will create mine as of this moment yet. What I do know is as many worlds as I can venture into. I've began my journey in progressive house. Making dance music, right? And then from there I went on into deep house and ambient and chill out. Uh, and then from there on to this lo-fi world. And leaving that, now I'm leaving that after a nice 1 year stay. So what I'm trying to say is that with each world, I have a diary with me, a metaphorical diary, And in that diary, I'm writing down everything I see, everything I experience in that culture of that genre. Because every community is different. Like the lo-fi communities say what one will say about the society. So what I'm saying is, no matter what you say about any community, right? Like techno hai, ya house hai, EDM hai in general, ya lo-fi hai, ya hip hop hai, whatever. Like I've experienced so much difference in each community. Like lo-fi ka jo dunya hai, for example, everyone
Right.
is, even though they're competitive, obviously they're competitive because everyone wants a spot in the playlists and all that, right?
Yeah,
But they're
that
so
that's a
supportive
different
at the same
culture.
time.
Yeah.
Yes, they're so supportive at the same time. Like they're like, you know, shout out to this guy, check out his music, and they always have each other's backs when it comes to like a new release or whatever. But in the techno world or in the EDM world, when you put something out, the community is it's not going to take notice until it has something very very unique with respect to its sound design or with respect to its melody or its arrangement. And then when you start to improve on that sound in the EDM world, that's when they will start noticing, okay, wow, okay, this guy has his own unique style in EDM. Like, wow. That's why Odessa have their own space, or Dead Mouse has his own space. You know.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So
Definitely.
so this diary that I have with each community, I want to keep filling it out, and I want to keep metaphorically, I want to keep showing the world कि भाई देखो ये दुनिया में ये है, and this is what this world is all about. And then
Interesting.
when I'm
Interesting.
and when I'm done, when I'm tired and I've traveled enough, maybe that's when I'll start showing off what I've learned from all the cultures. But
Okay, so you're taking your
that's
time.
I'm
You're taking
taking
your
my time.
time, and you see this as a long game.
All very 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 long game,
Okay,
very long game.
interesting. I like that. So, one thing, are you spiritual? Like, are you a spiritual guy?
I would say I partially am. Yes,
I wouldn't
partially.
like not spirituality in the hippie sense,
Hmm.
but
No,
in
I get what you're saying.
whatever definition suits you. I'm like asking you because one of your tracks is named Samatva,
Yeah,
if I get the pronunciation right.
yeah, you got it 100% right.
Yeah, so that caught my eye, and I'm like, अरे the Y project का vibe
Mm.
बहुत ही spiritual level पे है.
Equanimous.
Yes.
Yes.
So what's the so okay, let's not just talk about the song, but let's talk about both the EPs that came out this year.
Right.
How do I pronounce 5:1, or like what's
Five
the
one, five
how do
one,
I
5-2, 5-3,
okay, so we have in
so
2020
on and so forth.
5:1 and 5:2. So like is it like a concept, or what's your idea behind having these sets of five?
So what happened was last year when I was well, last year finished off an era. It was like I can say it was the first era of the Y project. The first
Yeah,
two
I think I
years.
did check out your page पे भी है, I think, in the
Hmm. Yes.
what do you call it, Instagram something stories ka collection. I don't know what you call it exactly, but yeah.
Highlights, I think that's what
Oh
it's
yeah,
called. The
highlights.
highlights.
Yeah.
Highlights. Yes.
Okay, you have two eras.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Go on.
So kind of borrowing from the Hindu, the way of looking at time, with the yugas.
The yogas. Okay.
Uh, so if you look at it like that, right? I just finished off my first era, my first yuga, so to speak.
Right.
Like it was like the first, the first few formidable years of me with trial and error, with misses and lots of failures with how my things sound. But at the same time, I'm learning, I'm growing, and it's all there. Like I'm just pushing shit out, right? In the first 2 years, if you go and see, you will see about 50 something tracks in the first 2 years itself, which is a lot
Damn.
for
That's
any
a lot,
artist.
bro.
That's a lot,
That's a
right?
lot. Yeah.
But then when this next era began this year, right, in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
it's sort of like this more, mature way of looking at music, a different way of looking at how I am going to be putting out stuff, how there's going to be some more time between release instead of just, oh, it's ready, let's just release it.
Right.
And so last year, when I was finishing this era, to answer your question, I wanted to just out of the blue just surprise everyone with just 5 songs in lo-fi and just call it a day with this genre. But when I started making these 5 songs, at the same time, I made a couple of other songs and I put them in one folder together because they were made in the same month. And I never released them in that month. They just stayed and they just kept growing in number. And I decided, why not put these out together like an assorted box of chocolates called Project 5.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
so the idea with this thing is that I want to show the audience, the listener, what I have heard, what I have experienced, and what I have sponged into my system. So with each release, you get like a different color, a different mood, a different vibe, so to speak, pun intended. And yeah,
Nice, nice.
that's what's it all about.
Okay. So, like the five represents the number of songs, basically.
Yes, I represent the number of songs per EP and the number of EPs at the same time.
Interesting, interesting. So, your latest one, 5-2.
Right.
Uh, so sonically, I think uh, it's damn good, bro. I mean, the fact that it's like a culmination of so many sounds, and there's so much happening. Yet, you've managed to stay authentic. So, what was going on during the process of making 5-2?
Well, believe it or not, Project 5, while also being, uh, constantly changing project, also is following a story based project at the same time. So all the
I
25 songs,
mean, yeah, huh.
it's a story that is happening to a protagonist of the story. And it's all there on the website. It's all there on my website. So whenever anyone wants to go check it out, you can go have a look. But so the idea with 5-2 was that so in the story, like, there's this guy and he has fun with his friends and he has a good time in the first EP, right? But in the second one, he goes exploring a lake at late night and without the right gear. And it's since it's cold and it's icy, there's ice in the lake and it's very, very deep, and he forgets his way. That's when the metaphorical chaos ensues, which I tried to put into the EP.
And is the same like is the same, it's a continuation of a single story
It's a
through.
continuation. It's going to be a continuation until the
Yeah, yeah.
last song of the last EP.
Okay, interesting, bro. This is very unique. And what one more thing I've observed is, I mean, there are a lot of things I've observed in the way you present yourself on the internet under the Y project. Uh, One is that I feel that every artwork or every anything that is related to your music is very, it feels like it's very well thought. And everything has a significance instead of just using a random artwork.
Hmm.
which I'm guilty of doing. But uh,
Yes.
yeah, I mean,
I mean, who hasn't? Who hasn't?
definitely. But there's something. So like, let me describe your artwork. There's an image, Nietzsche. There's this orange belt where a Project 5 is written. Your name is written on the right side, and what's written on the left side? I'm not able to figure
Hmm.
that out. So what's that?
So, so in the first one, it's the name of the it. So that's where the support. That's where I want to keep the name of the label for each release.
Oh, so like, are you talking about Apartment Records or?
Yes. So the first one was released with Lo-Fi Losers. They are
All
the
right.
distributors. But what
Shout out
Apartment Two?
to Lo-Fi Losers
Shout out to Lo-Fi Losers. Yes.
for doing what like they are doing and
Awesome,
inspiring
awesome
other
guys. Awesome
producers.
guys. Really, yeah, really supportive, and they're awesome. All of them. Yeah. But what their way of like, how every label has their own way of putting their artwork, right? So their labeling has Lo-Fi Losers on the top right or the left, always, right? So that space remained empty, and I didn't want that to happen, which is why I used the name Apartment 2 Recordings, because Apartment 2 Recordings is not just a distribution or a marketing, or a publishing thing. It is also to be very soon a facility to record music. So like a studio.
Interesting. Oh, that I did not know that. I knew up till it being like
Yeah.
a label. But shit, man, that's
Yes.
that's awesome. So it'll be only in Mumbai.
Let's see. I don't know exactly at the moment, but I would like to have it in more places.
Okay, interesting. I mean, I did not know that. Congrats on
Yes.
that. People who will be listening to this, definitely check out Apartment Records. And one more thing I've noticed is that you try to not associate the Vibe project with the person you are, as in you don't upload a lot of your own photos
Yes.
under this alias. Is there like a reason or?
I I find posting photos of myself uh, completely useless. To be
Okay.
very honest, I mean,
Okay.
if I'm going to be like, obviously, every listener and every person in my audience has the right to know how I look, and I will not shy away from putting my photos up on the internet. Sure, see how I look. I don't care. What I do care about is the attention remains more on my music and not on me.
Fair. Makes sense. Makes
I
sense.
mean, time will, like, I believe my view on my music is I want to use it as a way to escape time, because one day I will die, like everyone on this earth. But like Mozart, like
Okay, you
Jimi
want it to be
Hendrix,
timeless.
I'm trying to make it timeless. I am trying to make it timeless. Every time I think about some kid in the 23rd century looking up my music and listening to it, however they consume music in 200 years time, it just makes me feel excited.
So is that like your major motivation to,
Yes.
major नहीं
Yes.
बोल सकते, but one of the motivations I'm assuming.
One of the major motivations, yes, it is definitely one of my major motivations to uh, focus more on my music, even with my art. Like, I see a lot of my colleagues and I see a lot of my music friends posting their own photos, which is nothing wrong with that. And, that's completely their call and their life, who's to say anything to them, right? But when it comes to like me, I don't really feel it's my cup of tea. And I want my image to fade away. A vibe does not have a photo, a vibe does not have a color. A vibe is just formless, shapeless, constantly changing
It is
aura of
meant to be felt.
meant to be felt. Exactly.
That's well thought. So, yeah, these are like some things I've picked from uh, the way you have, the way you have your presence on the internet and the conversation up till now, and even in the previous conversations where, so whenever we've had our meetings about Rahat and stuff, you
Mm-hmm.
are extremely pumped when it comes to making things work and creating something. So,
Yes.
let's come to the producer side of you, as in the
Mm-hmm.
producer side of you, where
Yes. Yes.
sometimes, and not sometimes, it happens a lot of times, I'm assuming, where there is no creative output coming from you, or there is, even if it's coming, you don't like it, or the just the general will to get up and sit and produce, or a producer's
Mm.
block. How do you deal with those things that are coming in the way of you going from point A to point B?
So my producer's block is kind of different than the one that's experienced by everyone. Although I still have the same block, it's the same thing in just a different format. It's just a different way of the producer block. Like I find myself getting into the same routine, getting into the same cycle of uh, how I work a beat, how I work a track, how I work a melody. And while somebody may not be able to come up with a melody or may not be able to come up with an idea for a song, I can come up with an idea for a song. But what the problem is that I just keep repeating myself, which I don't like now. I don't want to sit into the same cycle. So if I do find myself repeating, I just stop. And how I deal with it is music.
Listening to music, you
Just
mean?
yes, my way of looking at it is the more you listen, the more creative your output will be. The more you kind of absorb, the more and not just from music. You can get inspiration from anything in life.
Right.
For example, you see structures, you see the way nature moves, you see things happening around you. There's always some sort of connection that you can make with the nature and apply that into your music. That is happens
Interesting.
very rarely. It's not always the case. And there are days where I have zero output and I absolutely don't do anything. I stay away from the computer and I just watch a movie or something. But I do get over that, as I hope everyone else does.
Yeah, that is. So, I think like a lot of producers will definitely benefit from. Ha, dude, COVID man. Let's not go there, please. Yeah, yeah. And you are again coming back to the way you present yourself. You are very particular about the thing. Your presence is very particular. The way you market yourself, or I mean, I really like the logo because the logo sticks. Whenever I think of your music, or so let's say I was thinking of how would the podcast go and stuff. More than your face, the logo comes in front of me. So that is very interesting. That is logo आ जाता है bro.
Well, I guess if it sticks, I think it's doing its job.
Definitely 100%.
But see, that is not also my my end goal. I guess that is not how I wanted to originally portray myself in Right,
from
right, right,
that
right.
perspective. So वो perspective से,
Okay.
I mean, definitely, I totally understand that it's all about the vibe.
No, actually, what I was going to say is I wanted to use an anime. Hello?
Sorry, continue.
Yes. So, what I was going to say is that I wanted to use animated characters. I wanted to draw up an animated version of myself for people to see something, for people to visualize how the vibe looks, But I don't have the budget right now, so I think a logo is doing its job for now.
No, it's definitely doing its job. But the thing about having animated characters, I was thinking. So I mean, there is so much like every artist wants to do, but it's just the constraint of finance, or not having the budget. But like if you think about it, when VR becomes cheap and accessible to the masses, there is so much you can do, because there will be visuals also, and visuals which are uh, visuals which have like a realistic depth in it, plus the music. There is so much you can do.
100%, man. 100%. Both of them joining hands together. It's just a different journey for the audience. I completely agree with that. Yes.
Yep. And what have you been listening to these days? क्या सुन रहा है?
What am I listening to? That is a great question. Uh, there is this um, there is this British group of comedians, pranksters, really, on YouTube,
Okay, I am not aware of them.
and one of them, they're the beta squad. I think that's how they say it. And one of them is, his name is Chunks. So they're like the YouTubers of UK. They're like really famous there. And this dude also makes music. And I really, I've just been hooked on to one of his tracks, one of his tunes, Hold. So I've been listening to that. It's been on repeat right now. It's very weird. I don't normally listen to that kind of stuff, but it just has this, it's like getting infatuated with an ice cream. You just want to have it time to time. I do not know if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. I totally get it. But it's just that artist you've been listening to, or क्या?
No, no, no. So uh, that since I'm working on the next EP from Project 5 is a ambient and drone uh,
Oh,
record. So
represent.
the way I do is yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
So
go
the
on.
way I so the way I kind of function, the like I try to maneuver each record is that if I'm going to release something in a specific genre, I only listen to that genre before I release it and before I finish it off making it. So my mindset is just in that world. My mindset is just in that in that style of music, right? So aside from that pop stuff, I'm really stuck with Niels Fram, uh, Kiasmos. We have
Yeah.
some of the ambient modular artists, up
Yep.
and coming modular artists right now, like R. Benny. Shout out to R. Benny. We have who else do we have? We even have an Indian artist in California, Ose Arushi,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Definitely.
there are quite a few actually in that jogging house, and there's this label, past in the present, something like that. They are putting out so much beautiful ambient music, especially their last release with this band called Osklang from Germany. They put out this beautiful orchestral instrumental slash ambient record Kronos. It was mind blowing. So those are some of the things I have on repeat right now. Especially Niels Fram. That
Bro,
guy
Niels Fram is
he's a he's a genius. He is. I wish I could. If I just get to stand next to him, I will count my blessings.
for sure, man. I mean, he is representing a generation in, like, when we talk about
Did you know?
timeless
Did
music.
you know Niels Fram is a protege of a
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
protege
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh,
of
yeah,
Tchaikovsky?
yeah, yeah. I read that. I mean, it's
I
the
was
just the fact that that is a fact is so mind blowing.
yes. It's mind. It's crazy. It's crazy. It shows off. It just shows off.
Yes, and then
You can know.
we have YouTube, people like us.
Uh,
I mean, it's just
yeah.
insane.
Like I said, like I said earlier, like there's so many worlds already. Niels Fram has his own
Yeah,
universe
yeah.
at this
I mean,
point.
that shouldn't stop you from making your own world.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
I mean,
I always want the front row seat in his universe. So much to jot down in my metaphorical diary. So much.
insane, man. That is,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He's like, we should like have another episode, just discussing what Nils Fram
For
is
sure,
like.
dude. I can go on for a whole hour. A whole hour. Just talking about
Yeah.
why I love. When I say love, I mean I will kill myself if they delete that song, Love. The part of this song called Number Two from his album All Melody.
Bro,
Especially from 4 minutes 13 seconds onwards. That is just brilliance. That is just
so
brilliance.
for people who don't know Nils Fram, please like do yourself a favor and go check him out.
100%
You won't
listen to
be
this guy.
you won't be
Go
disappointed.
look him up, search him up. You will not be disappointed. He's a brilliant pianist, all-rounder genius. Amazing.
Wonderful. So, like, we're coming to the end of our podcast, and this is my question to you. Where do you see yourself in the foreseeable future, and what do you think, like, in the foreseeable future, as in the Indian scene as well as globally? What are your plans? Uh, I'm sure you have already planned stuff. So, what's it going to be like?
So, I mean, do you want me to tell about where I will be or what I'll be doing or what I think of the Indian
I mean,
landscape of musically?
both questions, answers like could do,
Okay,
bro.
so
Yeah.
well, to answer of the first Indian landscape question
Hmm.
and the global landscape. I mean, it's going to be definitely a challenge to get back into grind because of COVID.
Yeah, for sure.
But uh, thanks to this COVID, people are realizing how accessible a live stream is, or just watching a show from home is.
Hmm.
So I think that could be a very big benefactor in the near future for everyone.
Definitely. Yeah.
And especially in India, where people they have just begun consuming music,
Right.
like the rest of the world.
Yeah.
We just got Spotify in 2019.
Yeah.
It's been just above a year,
Hmm.
and the rest of the countries have had it for like nearly half a decade, more than that.
Oh, is it? Shit,
And
I
so I
don't know
think
that.
India, yeah. Spotify started in 2008.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. So, and they've genuinely, like, they've slowly yet steadily, expanded across the world, right?
I mean,
They have reached India last year.
Spotify has its own cons, but like that, let that discussion be for another
Spotify
day.
has so many cons.
Yeah.
So many cons. Yes. I will definitely talk about this if at all I'm back on your
No, you'll
lovely show.
definitely be back, man.
I
I
will
mean, you have
definitely
so
talk.
many, there's so much music to come out from you. So, yeah, that reminds me of your next answer. What what was the scene? क्या है
Yeah,
आगे?
I think in the near foreseeable future, after Project 5, I will be backing out of public eye for a long time.
All right.
I will be gone.
Okay.
So my last album came out in 2017, the first album, and I will kind of go away to make the next one, which is already in the works. Like I've already begun working on it in 2018 itself.
Interesting. You're building on something like you're building the foundation for what is yet to come.
To kind of reveal something here, I when in 2017 when I released the album, right, my first album Vibrance, when I released it, I actually had in mind to release a 30-track album.
Holy shit, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
it,
Okay.
it would have been a lot for people, and it would have definitely been something to look at and be curious about, right? But I could not complete the music for the whole 30 piece project that I had in mind, which is why I took out the remaining 20. I just shelved them back into the vault, and the 10 that I could wrap up and make whatever I could of at that time, I released them, which is when the idea was born to do a trilogy.
Okay.
So there will be a trilogy. There is a trilogy of albums planned, and I will, after Project 5 next year, I will go away to finish the next one.
Oh, so you'll be like off social media or something? Or
Yes, yes.
okay. So,
I think people forget that I exist for a whole long time,
okay.
long as time.
Okay, interesting. So, because
But hopefully, hopefully, yeah.
no,
No, you were saying
yeah,
something
yeah.
because
So, uh, so I recently, I'll tell you my process of, going about things. Where I recently, as in I think last
Mhm.
month, I thought I had this idea for an EP, which I was working on.
For
An EP, for an EP.
EP.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
But the idea isn't relevant at this point. So, as in relevant to me, I mean, the idea I think is great. Like, I could do a lot with it, but it
Mm.
isn't resonating with me at this moment. Uh, so, how do you know that something from 2018, 17, 18 is going to, stick for so long where you have planned a trilogy?
I so to answer your question, whenever I plan something, it is the idea is very very basic in the sense that I just know what I will be doing. For example, when you cook something in the kitchen, and you know that okay, I've made this for lunch. I have I'll figure out how to make pasta, or I'll whip up a burger. Although you have never done that before, right? But it's just in your mind, like okay, I'm going to be making this dish, right? So I'm at that stage where I know what the dish will look like. I know what the dish is going to be like. But over the years, I've learned that this particular dish that I'm going to be making, has more ingredients and can have more ingredients than I originally thought. So I'm constantly just going back to the market and getting new ingredients to add into it, waiting for it to cook very slowly. And I know it's going to taste good. I know it. It's like some gut feeling right now.
Wonderful. I mean, it's very difficult to, I personally think it's very difficult for a musician, a producer, or any artist to embody the idea as deep as like you have.
The original plan, yeah.
So,
Which is why it's taking so much time. I did not have the resources to make what I wanted to make in 2018, 2017. I barely have some right now. So, which is why I want to take more time. I want to do more, commercial work, film work, ads and stuff, which I keep doing on the side to kind of get more finance to support myself and make
fair.
this, sexy beast that I have in my mind.
Wonderful, man. So, Trishant, it was great talking to you.
It was a blast, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is mine, for sure. Like, this is one of the most
No, 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 no,
interesting
no, no.
conversations I've had on the podcast. Right. So, for people who are like who haven't been introduced to the Y Project before, do check out his work. He's an amazing producer. You'll find stuff like right from lo-fi to IDM. So definitely check out his music on Spotify, Bandcamp, wherever. Also, check out Rahat Collective, which we are a part of, where you'll find some really, really talented producers. And also support the scene and check out Trishant's record label, Apartment 2, right? I keep forgetting the name.
Apartment 2 recordings.
Yes,
Yeah.
Apartment 2 recordings. And for people who like this podcast and want to have more artists, do keep sending your suggestions in. You can follow us at For the Record India on Instagram, Spotify, and we release an episode on every Saturday. So see you on the next one.